Linsanity 2.0 is back. That is what's going on. Phenomenal game. Houston 111, Orlando 103. With the victory, Houston is 41-33 on the season. We're getting closer to securing a playoff spot. We're not there yet, but there's only 8 games left, and this ties the best record the team has had all year. They are 8 games over 500, which is terrific. This team looked great tonight. We're going to talk all about it. We are currently 1 game back of the Golden State Warriors for the number 6 spot in the Western Conference. We are 3 games up on the Lakers right now so that we can keep a playoff spot. We're also 3 games up currently on the Utah Jazz, who are playing right now in the third quarter and leading their game at home against the Portland Trail Blazers. We've won 2 games in a row, coming off of the win against the Clippers. And this game was pretty much over after the first quarter because Houston outscored the Magic by 18 points in the first quarter. Although if you saw the game late, it got pretty scary because the lead got down to only 5 points. And McHale chose to rest the starters mostly in the fourth quarter, and it almost came back to bite him. But fortunately, that didn't happen. Omer Asik had a great game. He had 22 points and 18 rebounds. Omer and Jeremy dominated in this game. Dominated. It was phenomenal. James Harden sat out his second straight game with the foot injury, and I will now release my theory about James Harden sitting out to prove a point to Coach McHale. I could see it for 1 game, but you're not going to do it for 2 straight games, not when they're this important. Somebody called me out in the comments of the last video, of the J-Lin video, the J-Lin Extra #1, and said, hey, your theory's crazy. And I accept that. I was wrong about the theory, and that's okay. As Jack London has said, I'm not afraid to admit when I'm wrong. But you have to call it like you see it. And let's be clear, there's been a lot of drama in Houston this year. And so all of us are trying to figure out what's going on. And I gave a shot at it, and I was wrong. And I'm glad I'm wrong because you want the team to have harmony. Now, as in addition to James Harden being out, Chandler Parsons was also out of this game with food poisoning, which just means he ate something bad and had an infection or something, and so he was sick for this game. So Orlando's not a very good team, but they have a lot of talent. Maurice Harkless, Tobias Harris, and Nicholas Vucevic are very good players. They're young, they're going to be very good. So it's not like Orlando doesn't have any talent on their team, because they do. So we were going into this game without 2 of our best 4 players. Now the Magic were playing without Jameer Nelson and some other guys, but it still was. Wasn't sure how this game was going to turn out, but it turned out great. For the second straight game, we started Greg Smith and Omer at the power forward and center, and it worked awesome again. This game was all about, as good as Omer was, and he was great. I mean, having that size in the middle along with Greg Smith really changes things. As I said, now we have a legitimate playoff team. But this game is all about Jeremy. Jeremy played phenomenal. Now, if you noticed, if you watched this game, Jeremy has a new haircut. I could see his hair just got freshly cut, got the little mohawk going, and he just got it cut. You can tell. And this was the first Linsanity 2.0 game since March 20th against the Utah Jazz. So this is the first time in 6 games that we have seen Linsanity 2.0, and it's good to have it back. Jeremy finished with 19 points, 3 rebounds, and 11 assists in 30 minutes. He shot 8 of 16 from the field, including 2 of 4 from three-point range, 1 of 2 from the free throw line, no steals, no block shots, 3 turnovers, 1 personal foul. His plus-minus was plus 21, and his efficiency number was 21, which is very good. 21 efficiency in 30 minutes is really good. That's extremely high level. Bino Udrih, who is the starting point guard for Orlando, actually finished up with pretty good numbers himself. He had 17 points and 10 assists in 37 minutes, but a lot of his numbers came in the fourth quarter when Jeremy wasn't playing. So Jeremy got the better of the matchup with Udrih, although Udrih played well. I like Udrih. He's a talented guy, and he had a good game. Jeremy dominated a lot of this game, particularly early on, by passing the ball. I've told you guys before, you can dominate a game passing the ball and running an offense. You don't have to score to dominate. And I mentioned that the great Magic Johnson of the Lakers, that's how he played. Magic was capable of scoring, but he didn't have to score. And that's how Jeremy is, and that's the way he played tonight. He controlled the tempo of the game, the speed of the game. And he was getting so many easy shots for everybody else. I mean, he had a number of blown assists tonight. His assist number could have been 15 or more. But he just played effectively and efficiency, and he was able to dictate the pace of the game. He played it the pace that he wanted to play it, which is quick. And if you play quick with Jeremy, he's going to beat you in most situations. And that's what he was able to do tonight. The haters are looking for rocks that they can crawl back under. They're heading towards the darkness. Over the last 2 games against the Clippers and the Magic, Jeremy's proven everything. He did both of these games. Remember, he had 15 points against the Clippers. Both of these games without James Harden, and tonight without Harden and Parsons. There's nothing else to say now. I want to hear anybody say anything. If you're a Jeremy Lin hater and you watch this game, and you watch the last game, what are you going to say? Oh, he had 6 turnovers against the Clippers. Well, we talked about that and how that happened. He's everything that he needs to be. I don't want to hear anything about, oh, he's nothing, a fluke, fraud. No. He had a showcase. He had the stage in the last 2 games, and he showed everything he needed to show. He's legit. He's for real. He's a starter. He's very good, and he's going to get a lot better. The team played with rhythm tonight, and as we saw in the Memphis game and the Clippers game, they shared the ball. Again, sometimes the ball moves better without James Harden, although the ball moved well against Memphis because Harden was passing it. But this is the way you play team basketball. Move the ball. Move the ball. And that's what happened tonight. The ball isn't sticking in anybody's hands. People aren't just dribbling for 15 seconds. It's passing, open shots. And that's what happened tonight. And Jeremy was key to that. He ran it. He directed it. And it worked great. As I've said before, Jeremy can score, and he'll never lose that. People will say, well, Mikhail's going to take away his aggressiveness. No, Jeremy has a scoring mentality that will never go away from him. Even if he didn't score well for an entire season or 2 seasons, he's still always going to have that mentality. That's just the way he is as a basketball player. And you saw it tonight. He didn't score a lot for a while, and then all of a sudden, boom, 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 boom. Right. He has that capability. That's part of what makes him the player that he is, and he's going to get better with it. As I said, once he can hit three-pointers more consistently, have a couple more offensive moves to get his shot off, get the runners and floaters even better, he's going to be able to score even more. It's like Chris Paul. Chris Paul doesn't score a lot, but he can score when he wants to score. And that's what you see with Jeremy. And he will get better at it. He will get more moves and get even more effective as a scorer. Jeremy showed in this game, not only is he not a fluke, not a fraud. We know that. Anybody that's been paying attention. He showed he's special. And we've known that too, but the haters don't want to admit that. There's no question in my mind. Jeremy has the ability to play the game with a speed and a court vision and a flair that very few people can play with. We talk about sometimes, Patrick Beverley and Tony Douglas, and the haters will say they should start. No, they don't have that extra special characteristic and ability that Jeremy does. You know what I'm talking about if you watch this game. When Jeremy starts getting in a rhythm, it's like watching a magician that's really good. He just can make everything. It goes quick, and it's like surgery. Again, it's like the surgeon. When he gets on a roll, the other team can't do anything about it. And he'll hit you with scoring, and he'll hit you with passes. That's what he did tonight. And players like Patrick Beverley, again, I like Patrick Beverley, and I like Tony Douglas a lot, both of them. Beno Udre, they don't have that capability. They don't have that. There was a time in this game, and I'll go through it in the quarter by quarter, where Orlando started to try to run, to try to play fast, which is what Jeremy was doing. Once that started happening, I knew they were in trouble because you're playing into Jeremy's hands. Now, okay, we've talked about certain teams with phenomenal talent, like the Heat or others. Okay, they can play fast with Jeremy, but a lot of teams can't. And if you try to do that, you're in trouble. You're playing into Jeremy's hands, and that's when he'll just cut you up, which is what he did to the Magic tonight. That top-level talent, that's what Jeremy has, that players like Patrick Beverley don't have. As good as Patrick Beverley is, he doesn't have that, and that's what makes Jeremy special. There's not a ton of guys in this league that can do that. That's why we compare him to Steve Nash and guys like that. They can do that. It's almost like watching a great conductor of an orchestra. It's just, there's a special quality that those players have as guards and point guards particularly. Jeremy has that. He has that. And that's extremely rare. Extremely rare. And that's what makes him special. That's what makes him special. Jeremy gave you a glimpse tonight of what the future is going to be like for him. That's what he can do. We saw it in Linsanity 1.0. This is just like Linsanity 1.0 when he's playing like this. The same thing, except fewer turnovers. He's getting better. And this is what it's going to look like. Now, he might not be able to do this all the time because he's playing with James Harden, which means you got to share the ball more. It's like LeBron and Wade aren't going to have as many individual spectacular nights because they need to share the ball with each other. So you won't see this all the time, but you're still going to see greatness, and you're still going to see tremendous play. And quite honestly, it's better to play with somebody good. Yeah, it's great if Jeremy was on his own team and the rest of the team wasn't that good and he could put up big numbers, but it's better to play with better players because, again, winning is the most important thing. And Jeremy he'll have his moments, believe me. He'll have his moments. Okay, look, let's get to quarter by quarter. This was a fantastic game. And again, it's a statement game. This is what Jeremy Lin is all about. This is why Linsanity 1.0 happened. This is why everybody loves him. And this is why he's a special talent, a special basketball genius, because of the way he showed the way that he can play tonight. That's what makes him what he is. All right, early in the first quarter, Jeremy had a nice pass into Greg Smith for an excellent little post-up move dunk. Greg Smith was great early in this game. He had like 8 points and 2 rebounds, through the first quarter. He was phenomenal, along with Omer. Greg also had a really big blocked shot late in the game that helped seal the win. I made a note quick. Houston, excellent ball movement early. Again, ball moving freely, no ISO, brick, turnover. I hope James Harden was taking notes, and I'm sure he was. Like I said, look, James Harden is not a selfish player. As we talked about in the comments, the coaches want him to play the way he plays. If they didn't, he wouldn't play like that. So everybody needed to learn from tonight. Coach McHale, Harden, etc. And I'm sure they did. You know, when you do well and it works, well, that's when you start to make changes, and that's good. I was really, again, just so happy with the way Greg Smith played. I mean, he could be the answer for us as a starting power forward, and he looked great again tonight. And that much bulk, that much size and muscle at the power forward and the center, it just makes a big difference. I'll tell you, Orlando's good. I watched them play the Miami Heat the other day, and they gave Miami problems. But Miami doesn't have bulk on the inside on defense. Well, you put Orlando against a team like what Houston put out there tonight, and they can't do anything. It's a totally different thing. So really, really happy with this starting lineup. I mean, obviously with Chandler and James Harden included, but this is what we need to put in the playoffs. This is who we need to go with, in my opinion. Not Demo, not Carlos Delfino at the power forward. Greg Smith. Early in the first as well, Jeremy went right to the basket on a nice layup on the right-hand side in transition. That came with 8 minutes and 35 seconds left. I also made a note right here where, Omer and Greg Smith were doing more post-up offense. Why? Because James Harden's not playing and Chandler Parsons isn't playing. So you can't rely on them to score. And so now that you have to score, we see these guys putting post moves that we don't see that much. And again, that's coaching and in development. I mean, it takes time, but these guys have the ability to do this. We saw it tonight. You just got to give them a chance to do it. And that's what happened tonight. Again, hopefully the coaching staff will learn from that. Middle of the first, Jeremy had a nice little handoff. He just basically handed the ball off to Francisco Garcia for a three-pointer in the left corner. That came with 7 minutes and 30 seconds left in the first, and it put the score 17-4 for Houston. Also, middle of the first, Jeremy had a nice pass to Omer for a easy layup off of a pick and roll. That came with 6 minutes and 18 seconds left in the first quarter, and Houston was up 21-6. At that point in the game, both Omer and Greg Smith already had 8 points and 2 rebounds each, just halfway through the first quarter. So that big front line was dominating, just dominating, and so was Jeremy. Middle of the first, Jeremy got a turnover on. He tried to do what's called an entry pass. An entry pass is just the guard or one of the perimeter players is trying to get the ball into the post offense player. A lot of times it will be, it can be any type of a pass. So it's an entry pass. It means perimeter player trying to get the ball into the post player. It was just a little bit too high. He thought Omer might be able to jump and get it, but it didn't work out that way. 2 of Jeremy's 3 turnovers tonight. I actually missed the third one. I didn't see it, so I can't comment on it. Were he was trying to get passes into the interior guys. So again, I have no problems with the turnovers tonight because he was doing what he should have done. It's just kind of a miscommunication or guy not being where you think he's going to be. So, but it's good. Jeremy was looking to get the guys involved on the inside, and that's what he was doing. Middle of the first, Jeremy had a nice pass into Greg Smith, who hit a short little hook. You know, if you noticed in this game tonight, one of the things that was great was that Greg Smith was finishing passes that Jeremy gave to him. You know, sometimes we'll get on Omer because he'll miss good setups from Jeremy. Well, Greg Smith seemed like he was hitting everything tonight. Every time Jeremy passing the ball, he was hitting shots, which means Jeremy's getting an assist. And very nice, very nice. Jeremy was running the offense really, really well. I just made a note about that at this point in time. And again, it's up to the point guard to distribute the ball, make sure guys are getting shots, everybody on the team. Jeremy was doing a very, very good job on that. Patrick Beverly came in for Jeremy with 1 minute and 7 seconds left in the first quarter. At that point, it was 29-11 for Houston, and everything was looking great. Thomas Robinson came in about the same time, and he just started rebounding everything. As I said, he's a phenomenal rebounder, and he just started grabbing everything. I think he finished up with like 8 or more rebounds in this game, and he didn't play that much, but it's the one thing good about him. You know he can rebound the ball, and he's a big physical presence, so very happy to see his activity level tonight. They showed James Harden on the sideline, and I think this is the second game in a row where he had on like jeans and like a blazer. And so I made the note that James Harden looks like a game show host, you know, like some Newlywed Game or Price is Right or something. He had that little like blazer look going on. That definitely looked like a game show host, so that was funny. Jeremy started the second quarter on the bench. He came back into the game with 6 minutes and 49 seconds left in the second quarter. When he came into the game, Houston was up 41-28, so that was a 13-point lead. Very quickly, Jeremy drew a charge on Orlando. Orlando was on a fast break. Jeremy anticipated where the guy was going to run to. He just got there, stood there, and the guy ran right into him. And taking charges isn't fun. I mean, you can take a lot of punishment on that. A lot of guys won't take charges because they don't want to take the hit. But, I mean, Jeremy got hit pretty good, but it was a great play. Really nice play. Middle of the second as well, Jeremy, excellent pick and roll. That was very deep in the paint. Like, he was very low on the pick and roll with Omer. And got right into Omer for a dunk. That came with 5 minutes and 50 seconds left in the second quarter. It was a great play. Really a terrific play. Middle of the second as well, Jeremy again to Francisco Garcia, this time in the right corner for a three-pointer. This is right around the time when Jeremy got his second turnover of the game. He tried to make a wraparound pass to Omer that was a little bit out of control. It was a good idea. It was just a little bit out of control. As I said, I have no problem with either of those turnovers at all. Late in the second, Jeremy made a nice pass ahead to Demo in transition for a lefty layup. Then soon after that, Jeremy had a hockey assist. Hockey assist is where you make the pass, and then the guy you pass to makes the pass to an assist. That doesn't count as an assist in the NBA. So it doesn't show up on the stat sheet, but it's a very important play. The Rockets are coming down in transition, and Carlos Delfino had set up along the three-point line. Jeremy passed the ball to, I can't remember who he passed it to. It might have been Demo. And then Demo threw it out to Carlos Delfino for a wide-open three. But Jeremy started that play, even though he won't get credit for it in the statistics. That was great. I said, look, Jeremy was dominating at this point in this quarter. As soon as he came back in, he started dominating. And again, he was in control of this game. And again, I love Omer. A lot of people will say Omer was the best player in this game. I can't say that he wasn't because of his rebounding, but Omer relies on people passing him the ball to get his points, and that's Jeremy. So it's like Jeremy starts everything. So at worst, I would say Jeremy was a co-player of the game with Omer, and honestly, I think Jeremy was a player of the game because he's the guy that's got to drive the offense, and he did that. He did it great. Late in the second as well, Jeremy had a nice breakout transition layup. He was just way ahead of the field for an easy righty layup. That made the score 55-36 Houston. They were up by 19 points. 2 minutes and 51 seconds left. And I made a note then that, yep, this was a Linsanity 2.0 roll. He was just dominating the game. As soon as he came back in, middle of the second quarter to late in the second quarter, he just took over. And he dictated the pace of the game. As I said in other videos, the point guard runs everything on both sides, offense and defense, particularly on offense, but also on defense, because they're matched up against the other point guard who's running the offense for the other team. So if they can put pressure on the point guard and spark the defense, then that disrupts the entire other team's offense. And that's what Jeremy did against the Clippers. He played great defense on Chris Paul and kind of slowed things down. That's what he did tonight. He ran everything and sparked everything, and the team fed off of that. After that transition layup with 2 minutes and 51 seconds left in the second, Orlando called a timeout, and then before Houston came back out onto the court, Jeremy called a little team huddle, and he was addressing the team, and that's leadership. They're all listening to him. That's what the point guard must do. The point guard must be a leader. And Jeremy was leading, and it's great to see. Soon after that, right after they came back onto the court, Jeremy stole the ball from Orlando, but Tobias Harris got his hands on the ball, so they had a jump ball situation after Jeremy stole it. Jeremy then hit an off-the-dribble jumper from left of the top of the key extended. So it's kind of like, that little semicircle on the top of the paint, a little bit out to the left from that. It was a nice shot by Jeremy. Then Jeremy made a really good play and a really good shot. I don't know exactly how much time was left, but again, very late in the second quarter. In fact, actually it was about 35 seconds left. Jeremy came down and he hit a three-pointer from about 5 degrees right of the top of the arc. And he shot it quick. The reason why he shot it quick, meaning quick in the shot clock, the shot clock was maybe at 17. It's like, whoa, why is he shooting it so fast? The reason why players do that is because they're trying to do what is known as a 2-for-1. If you have a 24-second shot clock. So say you have 35 seconds left in the half and you just got possession of the ball. Guys will shoot quickly because then the other team has a 24-second shot clock, but there's still 32 seconds left in the half, which means your team is going to get another possession. So you get 2 possessions and the other team gets one possession, and that's called a 2-for-1. And so the reason why Jeremy shot that one quickly is because he wanted a 2-for-1 situation. So it was a smart play, and it was a good shot because he hit the shot. At the half, Houston was up 22 points, and if you saw the team going into the halftime, going towards the tunnel, you saw James Harden slap Jeremy, high five, because he knew Jeremy was dominating. He knew Jeremy was dominating, had it going, and it was great. Like I said, it's great to see the team support each other, and it's great to see Jeremy just rocking like he was. Jeremy started the third quarter. He had early in the third, he actually had a pass to Omer, who hit like an 18-foot jump shot, or even maybe 20-foot. I mean, you don't expect Omer to hit that shot, but he did. Then soon after that, he had a nice pass to Francisco Garcia, who hit another three-point shot. Then also early in the third, with 8 minutes and 40 seconds left, Jeremy made a great move. Francisco Garcia passed him the ball. Jeremy was he was out close to the three-point line, maybe about 30 degrees to the right, and he just made a really nice, quick dribble move, and he went through two guys on Orlando's defense and got right to the basket for a righty layup. It was almost like sometimes when basketball you'll do drills, you'll do practicing, and you'll have like little pylons, they'll put down on the highway, little pylons that so you don't go in a certain area. And it was almost like the defenders were pylons. He just went by them so quick. He kind of in and out. He went around one guy to the left, and then came back in and went around one guy on the right. It was just like a little pylon drill, and it was phenomenal. Again, he picked right up where he left off in the second quarter, just rolling. Then right after that move, he had a steal. Soon after that, middle of the third, Jeremy drove from the left side of the basket, kind of, I think it was on like a V, and he drove from the left into the paint, did a drive, draw, and dish, which I've talked about before. You draw another man's defender after you beat your own defender. Nice little pass to Omer for a dunk. Then, also in the middle of the third, Jeremy hit a catch-and-shoot three-pointer from about 10 degrees from the top of the arc, left 10 degrees from the top of the arc. And it was a perfect pass from Francisco Garcia. And I made a note, this is how you play basketball. This is what great basketball looks like. Balls moving, up-tempo, flow. There's a flow to the offense. No ISO turnover stuff, just pass, easy shots, layups. Moving. It was just great. And this is where I made the note. If you play street ball style with J-Lin, he will eat you alive. As I said, this is where Orlando tried to play up-tempo, and they played right into Jeremy's hands. If you play that style with Jeremy, you better be very athletic and very good. If you're not, he's going to tear you apart. And that's exactly what he did to Orlando. If you watch teams like the Lakers or like the Denver Nuggets, they play fast. They just run up and down the court. And as an opponent, you have two choices. You can either play your own pace, which is probably slower, or you can start playing the pace of the Lakers or Nuggets. What happened in this game was that Jeremy got Orlando to play fast, which is what he wanted. And that was a big mistake by Orlando. As soon as they started to do it, that was it. Jeremy just tore them up. That's why Jeremy's plus-minus was whatever, plus 20-something, plus 19. And Patrick Beverley's was -2 or whatever, because Patrick Beverley can't play at that pace. Again, nothing against Patrick Beverley, but Jeremy wants to play at that pace. And if you play that pace with him, he's going to beat you. 80, 85% of the teams in the league. And that's what happened. And Orlando made the mistake of trying to, play Jeremy's style, and it didn't work. Now, right around there, Jeremy had his third turnover, and that was his last one of the game. I didn't see it, so I can't comment on it. Middle of the third as well, Jeremy had a great, I think it was a pick and roll. I'm pretty sure it was, to Omer on the left side of, the lane. Perfect pass. Jeremy after the pick, and Omer was kind of on the left baseline, rolling towards the basket. Just made a perfect pass to Omer for just a mega dunk, and it was a no-look pass. I mean, it was just, like I said, Jeremy was just in complete zone at this point in time. Just doing whatever he wanted to do. Anything he wanted to do. And it was just brilliant. And so I said, this is Linsanity 1.0. But it's even better now. Most guys can't do this. And I hope Kevin McHale saw this and understood what he was seeing. Patrick Beverley can't do it. Even James Harden can't do this. Not like that. Harden is an excellent passer. And he's a good passer. I mean, he makes good passes. He can't make passes the way Jeremy can. Jeremy can make passes that James Harden can't make. And he can do it with a flair that James Harden doesn't have. Again, nothing against James Harden or Patrick Beverley or anybody else, but that's why Jeremy Lin is Jeremy Lin. That's why he's so unique. And that was probably the best moment of the game. You could just see that it was over. I mean, it's just, they couldn't do anything. And Jeremy was just rolling, and there was nothing anybody could do about it. Late in the third, Jeremy went into traffic and hit a layup. When I say it goes into traffic, traffic is cars and it's really cramped. That just means that the lane, the paint is cramped with a lot of defenders. So Jeremy went into the traffic, into a bunch of guys, hit a nice little layup. He fell down pretty hard there, but he was okay. And then soon after that play, Jeremy was coming back up the floor. Orlando took a quick shot, and Jeremy was back for an easy layup. Omer just threw the ball full court to Jeremy for a layup. That type of play is what's known as a cherry pick layup. Cherry picking means like a guy didn't come down on defense and he's just waiting at the other end for an easy pass for a layup. Now, Jeremy wasn't usually cherry picking. I don't know why it's called that. I mean, I'd have to look up why it's called that. I mean, that's like an idiom. There's some reason, like it came from somewhere why it's called that. That's just, it's its own little phrase that doesn't make sense otherwise. Usually cherry picking is a guy just doesn't feel like getting down on defense. He just is tired. He doesn't want to do it. Jeremy was just, I think, he had just, as I said, he had just fallen down pretty hard. So he wasn't trying to not play defense. He just finally got himself off the floor. Orlando shot quickly and boom. Okay, here I am. Give me the ball. Easy layup. And right after that, Orlando took a timeout. Houston was up 19 points with 3 minutes and 50 seconds left in the third. And I just put another note, Jeremy destroying Orlando. They couldn't do anything. And right around then, with 3 minutes and 50 seconds left, Patrick Beverley came into the game. And he played with Jeremy. We've talked about it. These guys play together. When Patrick comes into the game with Jeremy, then Jeremy plays shooting guard. The reason for that is Patrick Beverley is smaller than Jeremy. He's shorter. So Jeremy can guard players that are taller than him. You don't want Patrick Beverley guarding someone that's like 6'5". But Jeremy can guard some guys that are 6'5". You guys ask me all the time, why does Jeremy play shooting guard with Patrick? Just because of size. And Jeremy's used to playing shooting guard. I mean, a shooting guard is a position where you score more in general. And that's what Jeremy played at Harvard, so he's used to that. I don't think Patrick Beverley's ever been a shooting guard, at least not at a professional level. Jeremy forced a Orlando turnover late in the third after Patrick Beverley came in, and then they ran a nice little play. I don't know if it was design play or it just kind of worked out this way. It might have been a design play. They ran what's known as a curl. A curl's exactly what it sounds like, kind of like a little hook. Jeremy came off of a pick, I believe, close to the left side of the lane. Kind of, you run one way and then you double back the other way. Like I said, like a curl, like a hook. And, it's designed so that you lose your man. And so Jeremy kind of ran from the left side of the paint very low. He ran towards the three-point line, and then he came back towards the paint. And they gave him a nice little pass, and he missed a layup, but it was a great play. It was an excellent play. And that's the type of play you can run for Jeremy when he's playing shooting guard. You don't usually run a curl for a point guard, but you do run it for a shooting guard. A good example of that is Ray Allen. They'll run all kinds of plays for Ray Allen of the Miami Heat because he's such a good shooter. So you'll see Ray run all over the court, and the team setting picks and screens for him. That's what this play was for Jeremy. And it was good. It was a good play from the team, and it's something we will probably see more of in the future. At this point, I made a note that the team was trying to play fast. Patrick was trying to run quick, but he can't do it the way that Jeremy can do it. And it's like I said, the offense started to slow down and bog down because Jeremy can do that, and Patrick Beverley can't do it. And again, there's not many guys in the league that can run it like Jeremy can. It's like, a great piano player or something that has like a jazz piano player that's got just improvisational flair. That's what Jeremy has. Most guys cannot do that. They can't. And that includes Patrick Beverley. And so I give Patrick credit. He was trying to run fast, but it's not the same thing. And that's why Jeremy's special. Jeremy had a nice little drive late in the third as well, where he was actually looking to pass. He was driving from the left-hand side of the court, but he got fouled pretty badly. So he got 2 free throws, and he made 1 of 2. And that was very close to the end of the quarter. Jeremy played the entire third quarter, and I think that was kind of a reward from McHale. I mean, part of it is you don't have 2 guys that are in your normal rotation, Chandler and James Harden, but, Jeremy was playing great. He was totally dominant in the second and third quarters, just completely dominant. And it was a good decision by McHale to play him and keep him in. He deserved it, and it worked great. By the end of the third quarter, the score was 90-74 for Houston, so they were up by 16. Jeremy did not play at all in the fourth quarter. As I mentioned earlier, McHale just wanted to rest the starters. That looked like a safe lead, although it got pretty nervous down close to the end of the game. But that was it for Jeremy. So he only played 3 quarters of this game, but he put up great numbers, and he did play 30 minutes because he played the entire third quarter. Okay, the summary is phenomenal win. Huge win for the playoffs. Linsanity 2.0 is back. Woo! Sweet! It's back, baby. And Jeremy has silenced all doubters, all haters with this game and the game against the Clippers. There's nothing else to say. This is what Jeremy Lin and Linsanity is all about. And that's it. Haters, have fun because you got nowhere to go now. Okay, it is currently 11:15 p.m. on the East Coast of the United States on Monday, April 1st, 2013, which means it is 11:15 a.m. on Tuesday, April 2nd in Taipei, Taiwan. Now, I'm just going to answer a couple quick comments. I just picked them out randomly. As you guys know, I haven't been able to type a lot and just behind with the comments, but I'm doing the best I can. And I just pick stuff as I can. I believe Anderson Who asked me, why do I watch games with the sound down? I've explained this before, and I'll explain it again. And Anderson, you actually answered your own question, and you were right. I do watch it with the sound down because I don't want to hear the announcers, because I don't want what they see to influence what I think. I just want to see it for myself and come up with my own version of what I'm seeing. I think that helps me as an analyst not be influenced by someone else's opinion. I believe Anderson also asked, how did you end up following, Jeremy from team to team? Or somebody asked me this. I think it might have been Anderson. When I saw Linsanity 1.0 last year, we saw it quickly. I don't think I got to see the Nets game where Jeremy really broke out, but I definitely saw the next game, and I started following it. And I understood what it was when I was watching it, meaning I understood this is huge. And I could see the talent in Jeremy. I knew that this was real. This wasn't a fluke. This guy has this ability. It's like I said, like what you saw tonight. It's like watching a virtuoso musician. I knew this was legitimate. And I just got hooked. And it's, as a basketball fan, I understood what this could mean for the game being a global sport. Here's this guy of Asian American heritage who has ties to Taiwan and going back into China, and he's awesome. He's really good, and he came from nowhere. I mean, I never even heard of this guy. Well, I've heard of him, but he hadn't done anything. And he's from Harvard too. It was just perfect. And so I got hooked, like everybody else got hooked. And we just started covering it because, honestly, I just started covering it because I liked it. I like Jeremy. I can relate to Jeremy, as a lot of other people can relate to Jeremy. I know guys like Jeremy. I was fortunate I got to go to an Ivy League school. I know people like Jeremy. And so I was like, man, this is awesome. And so I just got caught up with it. And I just made a decision then, and John and I made a decision that we're going to cover this guy because we like him. And it's worked out great. Now, as I mentioned earlier, the Harden theory, what I said in the video, the Jeremy Lin Extra #1, I take it back completely. Definitely appears I was wrong, as some of you have pointed out. And I'm happy with that. As I said, I've never had a problem admitting I'm wrong, and I'm happy I'm wrong in this case. I want the team to have unity. The one thing about tonight's game that was so great was there was no drama. No drama. The only drama that came in this game was because McHale didn't put the starters back in late and almost blew up in his face. But other than that, there wasn't any drama. It was just beautiful basketball run by a maestro conductor. That's how you play basketball. And that's it. And it was great. Sparty, you made a great point about James Anderson coming from the Spurs. The Spurs, for other viewers, the Spurs are a great organization and they play the right way. So if you pick up a player that played for them, that player is going to play well, and they're going to know how to play, and they're going to play smart, because Greg Popovich and the Spurs organization does a great job. And so if you get someone from there, you know you're going to get a quality player that knows how to play. And I didn't realize James Anderson came from there, and I'm glad you pointed that out, Sporty. BB Soul, you asked me about Dwight Howard and Omer Asik playing center power forward combo next year. Maybe it could work. The problem with that is, look, I mean, obviously you'd have even more bulk than you do with Greg Smith. Excuse me, Dwight is bigger than Greg Smith. Not by a lot, but he's bigger. And he's more athletic. The problem with that, and I guess this is also true with Greg Smith, is neither Omer or Dwight can shoot from like more than 7 foot out. So, you know, a lot of the NBA now, and this is what Houston was trying to do with Delfino, is they want the as I've mentioned before, the stretch 4. They want power forwards, which is designated with the number 4, that position. They want power forwards that stretch the defense. They want guys that can shoot three-pointers. Well, neither Greg Smith or Dwight Howard can do that. And if Dwight played with Omer, Dwight's going to have to play power forward because Omer's taller than him. Yeah, that's probably how I would do it. They're about the same size in terms of weight, but Omer's a little taller. Dwight's a better shot blocker, but Omer's a better position defender than Dwight. So it'd be interesting. Look, if we can get Dwight, I'd be the happiest guy in the world. Dwight's a knucklehead, but Dwight can dominate. He's just not fully healthy right now, and honestly, I don't think he likes the situation in L.A. Now, I do think Dwight is seriously considering staying in L.A., but next year, Kobe's going to be a year older, so the team becomes more of Dwight's team. So we'll see. As I mentioned earlier, Jack London, thanks for your nice words, and you're right. I do admit when I'm wrong, and it looks like I completely blew it on the Harden theory, and that's fine. A lot of that came out of the Indiana game. I was so upset in the Indiana game that, you start looking for things. And when Clyde Drexler said that James Harden chose to sit out the Memphis game, it's like, or the Clippers game, it's like, wait a second, particularly after what happened in the Memphis game when the starters were benched the entire fourth quarter. It's like, just something didn't feel right. But, some of it's just Mikal. I mean, again, Mikal almost had things, turn out poorly tonight. So some of it's just Mikal's a young, inexperienced coach, and he's going to make mistakes. Okay, I want to give just a nice little roll call shout out to some of our friends in Asia. This isn't everybody, but these aren't all the nations of Asia, but there are a lot of them. And we just appreciate you guys' viewership. And we know we hear from all kinds of people from various nations in Asia. And this is in no particular order, but Taiwan, Malaysia, Hong Kong, Macau, Indonesia, Singapore, the Philippines, Thailand, Vietnam, India, China, Japan, Mauritius Island. We know we got our friend down there, and that's almost due south of India, I believe. Christmas Island, which I didn't even realize was a real place. Somebody left a comment the other day, and they're from Christmas Island. I'm like, and I went to their channel and it says Christmas Island. I'm like, is that real? And it is real. It's close to Indonesia. It's amazing. It's just incredible, all the places. Brunei, South Korea, Russia, the Asian part of Russia, which is a considerable part of the country, Kuwait, Pakistan, Cambodia, Laos, Burma, and, of course, all of our friends that are in and around Australia. And Dai's son, Melody Ting, a bunch of other people that, and all in and around there, including Tasmania, different principalities around there. I know Christmas Island is actually, I believe, part of Australian territories, but then you're getting into New Zealand and the Pacific Islands. So we just appreciate all you guys. We love having you come and interact. And it's great. Yeah, we're all fans of Jeremy Lin. As I said, Jeremy Lin is just so big around the world. I try to tell people that sometimes here in the United States, and some of them just don't understand. They just don't get how big Jeremy Lin is. And some of them don't want to get it. You know, the haters and stuff, they don't want to admit it because, I don't know, somehow it's threatening to them or something, I guess, but whatever. I made a mistake. I came and I wrote down that Parsons and Lin were out of this game, which was wrong. I meant Parsons and James Harden. I was just thinking about Jeremy, but somebody corrected that, and that was obviously a mistake. Sorry about that. Okay, the next game is against the Sacramento Kings, and that game will take place in Sacramento, California, which is a little bit northeast of San Francisco. And that game will take place in the United States on Wednesday, April 3rd at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, which means it'll take place on Thursday, April 4th, 10 a.m. in Taipei, Taiwan, and I believe Thursday, April 4th at 1 p.m. in Sydney, Australia, which is where Dai's son is. And I believe Melody Ting is she's north of there, and all of a sudden I can't remember. Brisbane. Yeah, Brisbane. I'm thinking of Melbourne, where they play the Australian Open tennis tournament. So I know Brisbane's up the coast from Sydney, quite a ways actually, but I forget how big Australia is. So it should be great, man. Look, Sacramento's been playing well lately, pretty well. So that's not a give me game. Hopefully we'll have Harden back for then, and certainly Chandler. We need to win as many games as we can. If we can catch Golden State for number 6, that's phenomenal. But right now we're not done yet. We've got to make the playoffs still, so we can't let up. But things are looking good. Things are looking good, and they're looking good for Jeremy. Okay, your comments below. Thumbs up, thumbs down in this video. We'll have full information about the game in the video description below the video player, including box score, game highlights, and a link so you can come and join the CNM Facebook group if you would like to do that. I am Paul F. Villarreal, the NBA expert. Thanks a lot for watching Conservative New Media. We strive to be the #1 Jeremy Lin YouTube fan channel. Great win, big time, woo win, and Jeremy just showing what he's all about. This is what Linsanity is. This is what Jeremy Lin's about, and it's getting clearer and clearer, and we're getting closer and closer to the playoffs. I hope everybody's having a good day or good night wherever you are around the world when you watch this video. Take care, everybody. We will talk to you again soon.